Hey fam, welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on in, come on in, come on in. It is the middle of the week, and I am so glad that you are here with me and my brothers. I tell you, this is such a hot subject. I had to get right on it. And of course, I had to bring one of my brothers on with me, one of my ADOS brothers on, Mr. Mark Stevenson. How are you doing today, sir?
I am doing well. How are you doing?
Man, I am doing fantastic now, and I appreciate you jumping on. I'm going to come to you in just a minute, but while people are coming in, let me say this. You know what to do. If you're watching, you checking us out on Facebook, make sure that you give us those thumbs ups, those hearts, those likes, all that good stuff, all that activity. Make sure that you share this show because we got some critical information that we want to share with you. So make sure that you share the show. If you're watching us on YouTube, once again, you know what to do. Hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and most of all, ding, hit the bell so you get notifications of all my videos. All right, brother, we're going to jump right into it. The title of tonight's show is hashtag ADOS, beware of the real estate scam. And so I had to come to my brother with this. Mark, could you tell the people a little bit about your real estate background, what you do now, so they won't think this is just somebody just where you get this guy from, somebody just talking?
Okay, well, the thing is that I got a lot of experience when it comes to this investing in real estate and flipping houses, and I used to rent be a landlord and had tenants and all this good stuff. And right now, I'm into like investing in commercial and residential real estate. And so, you know, when we hear the topic about opportunity zones, I'm very, very familiar with opportunity zones. I work in opportunity zones, so I know I have extensive knowledge as to what happens and what it is. So I'm really excited to talk about this topic. So let's get to it.
Let's get rocking. Let's get cracking. And the thing about it is, fam, is I brought you somebody that's actually doing it. Not somebody that's talking about it, not somebody that read it in Black Enterprise, not somebody that saw it on Voices, program, but somebody that's actually doing it. So with that being said, let's go to this first story because we broke it down in two stories. 5 friends agreed to save $50 a week for just 2 years. For 2 years, just purchased their first investment property. Now, let me say this up front. I can speak for myself, and I know this is the same thing for Mark, is there is no shade being thrown on these brothers. Not at all. This is a wonderful accomplishment. Bravo to them. So there's no, we're not trying to take any credit away from them at all. My problem is I've just been seeing this story shared so many times, and people have not been reading the story. And they don't know the whole background. And Mark, I got this on the screen now, so I don't know if you can see it, but the house that the rental property that they purchased looks like it's going to need a whole lot of work. I mean, a whole lot of work. And I think there's a sign on there. I don't know if that's condemned. I don't know what it's bankruptcy. Anyway, I don't know. But it looks like it's going to need a whole lot of work. And once you do the math, I think that comes out around between 26 and 30,000 for that particular property that they purchased. Now it says they purchased this property. So Mark, with your experience, tell me what, and I know a lot of it depends on location, what type of property or home are you buying for about $30,000?
Well, if you get the property that's about $30,000, the chances are it's either a property that the city has designated as, you know, ready to be torn down. It's a property that has no tenant. It's pretty much either boarded up and it's ready to be torn down, or it's something that maybe got seized. It might have been a former drug house. So it could be any of those things, but it's not going to be something that's going to be like a turnkey or something that needs like maybe new paint and carpet and be ready to be habitable. You know what I'm saying? It's not ready for somebody to live in. So it's going to be a rundown property.
In other words, it's not move-in ready. You're not going to just get this one and just flip it and put people in it. And so that's one thing. And one thing you mentioned to me that I think a lot of people don't read and haven't talked about is once you get this property in this condition that you purchase, now you have a whole separate level of costs that you have to incur to even make this property hospitable. Talk a little bit about that.
Okay, so the first thing is it's gonna have to get up to code. So that means that there's gonna be some permits that gonna have to get pulled. It's clearly if it's been boarded up, that means that you're gonna have some piping issues, which means you're gonna have plumbing problems. There's gonna be some electrical that gonna have to be ran. You may have some structural damage, some foundational issues. There's gonna be some roofing issues, and then inside of the property itself, you may have had fire damage. So obviously, it's going to be new drywall. It's going to be new paint, new flooring. You're going to need new appliances, new hardware. It's basically, if anybody watches Home Garden TV, you're basically going to be flipping the property. And those costs, depending on how much stuff is wrong with the property, can balloon. And depending on the square footage, it can go from being, $50,000 to almost $200,000. Just to make it move in, ready for somebody to live in.
Woo! And that's what they said they were going to do. They said we're going to get into this story because I want to make sure that we don't just stay there, but we're going to dive into it. It says 2017, 20-year-old devised a plan for his two younger cousins, and they talk about the cousins, and along with his longtime friend Tyree Harvey and Darius, so it's five of them, to save and pool their money together to purchase an investment property. All well, so good. The most challenging part was getting them to understand that time is going to pass regardless. We can invest ourselves and continue to let time pass us by. Very good, very motivational. So far, so good. Harrigan told because of them, we can. As a group, they decide that the investment in their future was worth the sacrifice and focus. For 2 years, they each saved $200 a month, and in June 2019, they closed on their first property. So that's the property that we showed at the very beginning. Hunnigan says that while his partners couldn't see his plan at first, they believed in him as he had just opened a daycare and was getting into the entrepreneur mindset. He believes trust is the foundation for others trying to replicate their plan. So, brother, let me ask you this. You're a businessman. You're in the real estate. How many people do you know that are able to open a daycare?
Not many. I mean, if they have a daycare, it's probably a home daycare center where they have somebody, watching maybe 4 or 5 children in the house. To open up an actual center itself, like a commercial property, it takes a little bit of capital to be able to do that. I mean, that's not for the weak at heart, and that is not an investment that majority of ADOS people can just make right off the top.
And I love what this, see, if people just read the story, I love what this says. It wasn't just the fact that he said, yo, fellas, we're going to get together. Let's do this thing. I'm convincing you. It said they really wasn't even interested until he opened daycare. So all the talking that was going on and all that was is well and fine. But now that you've done this and you invest that capital into this other business, now we kind of believe you. And I think that's a lot of things that we miss, because then he says, find people you trust and never give up. Don't argue about dumb stuff. Always think of the big picture. Giving up something like cable and clothes for a year or two can put you in a position to have it for a lifetime. Now, brother, let me ask you this, and y'all jump in here in the comments. Let us know what you think, because I see some of you out there, and I appreciate you commenting. Does this brother sound like all that he did was give up some cable and give up some clothes for a couple years, and then that's what got him the money? That's because I'm just thinking that if you open the daycare, you probably have a little change to begin with.
Oh yeah, money, and anybody that gets into real estate, unless you got money saved up, whether it was you had some equity in another house and you pulled it out and to go buy property, you got some financial backing for something else. Somebody else is backing you. Nobody is going into real estate and starting out and you don't have capital. I don't, and if somebody tells you they're doing that, they're lying to you. Because there's no way that you're going to get any type of lending, and there's no way you're going to be able to raise enough money to be able to rehab a property unless you got investors that are willing to invest in you. You know, so you either got hard money coming to you in the form of angel investors, or you go into a bank getting a loan.
Wait a minute, Mark. But I watched this late night TV show. It said I can get into this thing, man, for no money down. OPM, I can use other people's money.
Well, you can use other people's money, and that's kind of how I got into it. I had an angel investor for my first property, and it was a hard money loan because you have people who have cash and they need to do something with it besides put it on the stock market. So you do have people out here that'll give you hard money. The issue with that is that the interest rate is a whole lot higher than it is for you to go get a conventional loan through a bank. And if you got a property, say you're living in the property that you got a loan on already, the chances that a bank is going to give you a second mortgage payment is slim to none. So you're going to either have to have somebody that has capital that's willing to invest in yourself, or you're going to have money to the side yourself already saved up to do it. Because a lot of people are not going to lend to you.
Well, there it is, folks. There it is. All right. Well, all right. We're going to leave them alone. But, like I said, folks, always, our big deal is, once again, don't want to take anything away from these brothers. Congratulations on what they did. I certainly wish them the best. But always read the story. And usually there's more to the story than just the headline. So please just don't read the headline and go with that. So, Mark, we're going to move on now to one of my favorite topics. I know one that's dear to your heart because we had a lot of good conversation going back and forth about these opportunity zones. And a lot of, I'm going to say, misinformation is out there about them. And this story is from Black Enterprise. And, all I can say about this story is I used to be surprised at Black Enterprise, what they would publish. I'm no longer surprised. It's really going downhill. But anyway, so Black Enterprise, it says, making opportunity zones work for Black communities. Before we jump into the story, Mark, can you tell us what an opportunity zone is?
Okay, so in a nutshell, an opportunity zone is a formerly red line area. Period. That's what it is. And it's an area, it's usually a distressed community, i.e. Black people, and it's a poor community. And basically, the Housing and Urban Development HUD has designated this as being an opportunity zone, meaning that investors can come into this zone, pump money into it, and they can get like rebates and credits on their money. So if I invest in here, that means that I may not have to pay property taxes. I may not have to pay, insurance. I may be able to get a few perks. If something is going to go on in that opportunity zone that's going to be advantageous for me, for me and a bunch of other investors to come in and basically beautify this area. So and like I said, they are the formerly red line community.
Awesome, brother. Let's jump right into this article. It says, opportunity zone law provides significant long-term tax benefits, is what you're saying, who put up capital gains, and who put capital gains. Now, don't miss this. For investors who put capital gains into qualified opportunity funds, investment vehicles set up to deploy funds into eligible property in business and designated opportunity zone. So it's not like I just have this bunch of cash laying around and now I just want to put this in, just dump this in here. These are from capital gains. Capital gains, and we're going to talk a little bit about that as well in the story. Say most opportunity zones are in majority Black and brown neighborhoods, like you said, giving rise to concerns about risk of gentrification and displacement of low-income families from their neighborhoods if the program does not adequately protect the interests of existing residents. I've yet to see one do that, but we're going to move on from that. Some worry that struggling communities will continue to be left behind while outside investors enjoy the rewards of opportunity zone tax preferences. As this debate plays out, those concerned about ensuring the democratization of the benefits to be provided by law should be strategic about making the most of the potential benefits rather than simply throwing up their hands in despair. Through creativity and collective action, Black and brown investors and social entrepreneurs can make use of the most favorable aspects of the Opportunity Zone legislation to launch innovative investing initiatives aimed at building wealth in our community. There's a couple of things I want to hone in on here. Mark, when a person comes to you and it says, man, we're going to be creative with this thing and we're going to need some collective action. Those are the two things that we need to make this thing work. What kind of goes through your mind when you hear that?
Well, the first thing that goes through is somebody asks me for collective action. That means that we're trying to put money together to do something in that community. And it also means that it's got to be advantageous for us. That means that we got to see a profit margin that's going to be about 30% more than what we invest in. So if it's not going to benefit me as far as me being able to do some capital gains on top of that, then it's not going to be advantageous for me to go in. Because people don't understand what capital gains is. That means that that's the money after the fact. You know what I'm saying? That's everything after. That means that I done flipped my money.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? This is the profit margin that I have flipped my money on. So if I invest $100,000 into an opportunity zone, I want to see a 30% increase on my money. So that means that I'm looking to make about $30,000 or more off of my investment, and it has to be something that can be done in the next 2 to 3 years. So this is not for the faint at heart. And what I want people to understand about opportunity zones is that once you start working in an opportunity zone, the people who are in that area at that time, meaning the people who are living there right now, are not going to be the people that are going to be in that opportunity zone in the next 3 to 5 years. Because opportunity zones are designed to gentrify the neighborhood. That's what they are there to do. We are there to gentrify the neighborhood. So if we are there to gentrify, that means that we are there to make money, and we cannot make money with the tenants that are already there.
That's what it is. That's what it is. You know, the one question I keep asking people, and I've yet to hear a good answer, is because every time somebody talks to me about this, they talk to me from the investor standpoint. And so I keep asking people, okay, but what's in it for the residents who are currently there that are poor? In some kind of answer, some of the times I get an answer, well, if they own their home, the value of the home increases. But we know from the data that the majority of African Americans don't own their homes, and a lot of people are living either in apartments or renting a home. So that doesn't help them. That doesn't help them. And if you really think that a lot of these opportunity zones, because there's a lot of poor areas, are going to be in some of the most desperate and, just crime-ridden, ghetto, just horrible areas, that's not where they're going to be. For the most part, most of them are going to be in areas that are already undergoing some level of gentrification, because that's where you want to invest. Why in the world would you go invest into the middle of just the ghetto where nothing else is there? It's when you already can. It's just that part just doesn't make any sense. Can you talk about the location that these zones, these investors are not just going to be going into like the most crime-ridden, depressed, horrible areas? That's not where they're going.
No, the majority of the time, if you're looking at investing, especially in real estate, and you're looking at an area to invest in, you're going to go into an area that's already had some people that have already started flipping that area, because you want to make the most bang for your buck. And anybody that is into real estate investing wants to make profit on anything that they do. So it would not make sense for me to rehab a house or a commercial building in an area where there is no development already going on, because nobody wants to be the first person to renovate a neighborhood, and nobody wants to be the first tenant to move in a freshly renovated neighborhood, because their property value is not going to be worth anything. So if you are somebody that's looking to buy a house, you're also looking at maybe selling your house down the road. So you want equity built up into your house. So the property value is low, then that means that you're basically not going to make any money off of it, and you may end up losing money. So, so it's not going to be the neighborhood that is completely run down. It's going to be the neighborhood that already has some development going on. And usually you can tell a neighborhood that is designated as an opportunity zone because they will have signs up that say that this area is tax abated, meaning that you're not paying property taxes for anywhere between 8 to 15 years. So they can jack the price up. They can jack the price up on the houses, and you're not making a big payment on that house right now because you're not paying property taxes. So that means that everybody that is around you, their taxes have to go up because your actual house has been designated as a tax-abated house, but theirs isn't. So if you got people already owning their houses in there, their property taxes are going to skyrocket, and usually they skyrocket anywhere between 50 to 125%.
Wait a minute, man. Now, did you say that? You said 50 to 125%, not dollars. 50 to 125%.
Yeah. Yeah. So if they were paying about $3,000 a year in property taxes, and that's just low ball in it.
Yeah.
You can rest assured that after that neighborhood has been tax abated, their property tax is going to skyrocket to about $7,000. We had that happen here in Columbus, Ohio. Grandview Heights used to be like the worst area in all of Columbus. Now there are $1 million condos down in that area, and it used to be drug infested. It was like we had a big old gang that the FBI came in and got rid of, and then they tore down every single house in that area, and they have built nothing but high rises and condos. And the cheapest condo that is in that area right now is going for $500,000. That's the cheapest.
So, brother, let me make sure I understand.
Ain't a lot of black folks living there.
Let me understand. Let me make sure I understand what you're saying. So, the wealthy white investors, let's just go and say it, not all the time, but we're wealthy investors, the investors that come in, they're not paying taxes, they're investing. But the people that are there already will be subsidizing these wealthy investors coming in because their taxes are going to go up because all this has to be paid for somehow, right? All this development has to come. All of it's not going to come from them. And so the burden will be on the people there.
Correct. Like I said, if an investor is going into that property, they want to see about a 30% return on investment. So that's their capital gain. So the only way for them to make money is for somewhere for the government. And sometimes, most of the time, the government will subsidize them. They will give them credit. They will give them, they will throw money at them. I know here in Columbus, we got the mayor just announced that they have $100 million ready to invest in the opportunity zone. So we already know who will get these contracts. And, they divvy them out. And, you have people go in and they use this money, they get contracts, they develop the area, they get paid hand over fist, they get paid twice. They get paid for selling the property and they get paid by the government for going in and rehabbing it. So it's a win-win for if you have capital. But if you are somebody that's living in that area, it's a lose-lose because you're going to get gentrified out of there.
Man, let me go on. So long timelines for acquiring capital. I'm letting this sink in, fam. It says at face value, possessing capital gains is the minimum requirement to take advantage of the tax incentives in the Opportunity Zone program. This ultimately creates an effective barrier to entry for many Black and brown people. It's telling some truth. Okay, that's good. Capital gains are generated by sales of stock, other equity interests or assets, or real estate, generally investment properties, since the first $250,000 of proceeds from the sale of a primary residence is not recognized as capital gains. So understand what we're saying here, fam. This is a very narrow group of people who can do this. And the majority of that narrow group are not Black, not ADOS. From sales of stock, from other equity interests or assets or real estate other than their primary residence. That's not the majority of Black people. It's just not. It says, however, the long timelines built into the legislation provide an opening for participation down the road, even for those not currently sitting on unrealized capital gains. Investments made within a 10-year period of opportunity zones designation can potentially reap tax benefits up until 2047, provided the regulatory requirements are met. This offers a substantial time period for generating capital gains over the short or long term for later opportunity zone investment. Brother, when I listen to this babble, when I listen to this, it may happen down the road, sometime after so-and-so. It just sounds so illogical. It just sounds like this is just like a made-up plan. Like if I put 2 and 2 together, it'll come out to be 15, brother. So in these areas, are wealthy investors or investors just going to wait around for other people to get their stuff together?
Oh, no. Yeah. You know, we live in a capitalistic society. So, you know, it's always the big fish trying to swallow the small fish. So I'm not going to wait for you to be able to, you know, get some stock and sell the stock back as a buyback, or you to be able to buy a rental property and then down the road flip it and sell it. No, if I can buy a whole block, I'm going to buy the whole block. And I'm going to take that block and I'm going to do whatever I want to do with it because I have the money and the capital to do it. So if it's 7 houses on that road and I want all 7 and you don't have the money to get them, then I'm going to buy all 7. Like, no one is waiting around for somebody else to make money. That's not the world that we live in. Everybody is trying to eat. So if I have an opportunity to go in and buy up everything while you are trying to figure out how you're going to get your life together, then I'm going to do that, because it's a dog-eat-dog world. Nobody's waiting around for anybody else to make money, and that's what Black folks have to realize. So if you don't have money to do it, then you'll see that this is a scam, and Black folks don't have capital. So you're not going to have opportunity to invest in the opportunity zone. Plain and simple.
So let me jump in the comments, Fab. So from your perspective, just yes or no, do you think opportunity zones, we're going to get some more of this. We're not finished yet. I just want you to get your opinion real quick and dirty from the people that's listening. Do you think opportunity zones are good for the people that live in the community? Not a good investment. Got to answer the right question. Are they a benefit for the people that live in the community? Yes or no? Jump in the comments. Because one of the things that some people were saying, Mark, that when we were talking about earlier is, well, at least it'll create some jobs. At least some of the people that's living in there, they'll be able to work, and that's a good thing, right? And you tell me, brother, if these opportunity zones create some Starbucks jobs, some Taco Bells that may open up, maybe a Target, maybe a Walmart, maybe some little retail that's going to have to happen in that area. Can those people making that $725, $925, $1125, they going to be able to live in those areas? No, because they're not going to be able to afford to live in that area. Like I said, we had an area here in Columbus that got gentrified out as Grandview Heights. Now they have a Chick-fil-A over there, and none of the people that work in Chick-fil-A live in Grandview Heights. What you have there is a bunch of doctors. You have a bunch of young doctors, the ones that are working at the Ohio State Medical School. You have entrepreneurs. You have real estate bankers that work for Nationwide. So you have tech company people there. You have the people that work for L Brands, who are marketing directors. So no, the average person that is working a minimum wage job is not going to be able to live in the opportunity zone because they don't have enough money to live in this opportunity zone, and nobody wants to be living by somebody that's making minimum wage. It is not going to happen because I'm gonna be frank when I say this. It's not to take away from anybody that's doing those types of jobs, but if I'm a doctor, come on, say it, brother. Come on, say it. Come on, say it.
If I'm a doctor, the last thing I want living next to me is somebody working in fast food. That's just bottom line. And you know, I know it's hard to say that, and people may go into your Facebook mentions and say, "Well, dang, he didn't have to say that." But I'm just being honest because you know these people are looking for the best investment for themselves, and they want to be able to, you know, have their neighborhood look a certain way. And it's not going to happen if you're making a minimum wage. You know what I'm saying? There's going to be no subsidized housing in the opportunity zone.
Not going to happen. Not going to happen. All right, let's keep it going. I love it. Brother just brought it like it needed to be brought. I tell you, this is the craziness of it, the insanity of it is what kind of surprises me. And I think a lot of times all people have to do is hear real estate, and they have this imagination that, oh my God, this is just going to be magical. But that's not how it happens, folks. That's not what's happening, and that's not what it's going to be. It says collective action to build wealth. So much for Black experience. So much of the Black experience in America has been built around organizations that connect our communities, such as churches, Black fraternities, and sororities, and service clubs. These groups have played crucial roles in various social movements throughout our history. The Opportunity Zone legislation offers a unique opportunity for those organizations to make strategic investments aimed at both financial return and social impact. The law and its design, I won't go through all that. Collective action to address systemic barriers to advancement is often discussed within these communities, with opportunity zones and incentives for collective action are actually built into and aligned with the legislation. So, brother, let me ask you, you're out there, you're doing your thing. How many churches do you know? How many fraternal organizations, sororities, and service clubs do you know that are investing in opportunity zones?
None. If they are investing in an opportunity zone, they're looking for a property for themselves so they can grow and do their thing. But the last thing they're doing is trying to help anybody out. I mean, that's the boule, you know, and I'm a member of a fraternity, so I can speak on it. My fraternity ain't doing nothing in the opportunity zone besides create a building for our fraternity to meet in. That's it. You know, there is no investment or helping nobody else out. I mean, what are they supposed to do? The Urban League is the one that is supposed to control the opportunity zone. And the Urban League is not in the business of trying to help Black entrepreneurs invest in distressed communities. They're not doing that. You know, they're not doing that. They may say they're trying to do that, but that's not their mission. They're not investing. What they're doing is they're taking the money and they're turning around and they're having meetings and conferences and paying, you know, people six-figure salaries just to go around the country and speak. But they're not investing in anything.
And this is what kind of amazes me, that this is in Black enterprise. And on the surface of it, it makes no sense. It's not like all of a sudden churches have been sitting around and saying, oh my God, now we have opportunity zones. We had this stash of cash over here. Now we can get it in. Man, we can get it in now. They haven't been doing this up until now. And you're talking about, many times, we're talking about opportunity zones. So we're talking about tax incentives. We're talking about things that happen down the line. We're not talking about just this large amount of cash for people who just want to invest in opportunity zones like a church or Black fraternities to just get the cash. Say, no, grab the bag. It's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. And so just when I'm listening at this, brother, does this make any sense to you?
No, because most fraternities are 501c3s anyway. So they're already tax exempt. So and churches are tax exempt as well. They normally are designated either as a 501c4 or 501c5. So they're already tax exempt. So they're not paying taxes. So it makes no sense for them to do anything because they're not paying taxes anyway, because fraternal organizations are considered nonprofits. So there is no profit for them to make. There is nothing for them to do in that area that is going to benefit anybody else besides them. Because it's not like they're giving out loans or business grants for people to invest in. They're not doing that. They're not built for that. So it makes, I mean, you can look at West Baltimore. I mean, Elijah Cummings District got $16 million just last year from Donald Trump, and the place is a dump. It's rat infested. So where's the money going? It's definitely not going into revitalization of the community. Somebody's taking the money and doing something else with it.
It's amazing, brother. Like I said, this is Black enterprise. This might as well just be Black fantasy, because I don't know where we get this idea that all of a sudden, because of these opportunities, we're just gonna have Black church. We're gonna have churches all of a sudden just jumping in. Black fraternities, really? Sororities, service clubs. So we're gonna have let me go, bro. I'm trying to wrap my mind around it. This is like insane. It's almost like reading fiction. I kind of think that's what it is. Okay, it says cycling the dollar. Along with collective investing, the Opportunity Zone program allows for cycling of the investment dollars. The second set of regulations serve to conform this. Imagine a scenario where an organization pools its resources in compliance with required securities and laws, acquires properties, and renovates them for sale to members of the community. Each home sale would help the home buyer begin to accumulate assets that might even be passed on to the next generation. It's just like amazing that I'm reading this, and for some people this sounds logical. I mean, obviously I don't know what you know, but brother, come on now, really? So they're going to pool the resources, they're going to acquire the property, they're going to renovate it, and then they're going to sell it to the members of the poor community. Brother, help me out here. I'm not. Yeah. What am I missing?
Yeah. Listen, I don't understand how a organization is going to do this. I mean, basically, what you're going to have. So basically, in a nutshell, they're saying that service organizations and churches are going to go get into the business of real estate investing and flipping houses. A church is going to flip a house. That's what they're saying. I mean, because it makes no sense. I mean, I didn't know that churches were going to get into having properties. I mean, I know some churches do it. I know the House of Prayer back in my hometown, they have an apartment complex that they rent out to people from their church. But I mean, if this is the new norm, that churches are now going to be real estate investors. I mean, it makes no sense. I mean, who is actually going to benefit from this? And then if they are selling the houses, don't the people still got to qualify for loans for the houses? I mean, they're not just giving them away. It's not that they're going to be leasing to own a house. I mean, that's not what you do. Either you buy or you rent. So either you're going to be renting from them or you're going to be buying from them. And we already know that most Black people can't qualify for loans because they don't have a down payment for a conventional loan. And FHA has so many parameters in place for first-time home buyers, and it makes it virtually impossible unless you have at least, you got to make at least a third of the amount of the mortgage, I mean, of the actual payment of the house. So if the house is $150,000, that means that you got to be making at least $50,000 in order to qualify for it.
And that's on a $150,000 house. And we know in a lot of areas, in fact, most areas, you're not finding $150,000 homes. You really, really have moved into a whole different, area. When we're talking about in a lot of areas, $150,000, and that's on $50,000 salary. And we know that most ADOS don't even make that. We're talking about 35 and below.
Yes, and no bank is lending to anybody that's trying to buy anything under $100,000. Like, it is virtually impossible to get a loan for a house because the banks are not going to make a lot of money off that. The interest rates are pretty low right now. They're running anywhere between 3.5 and 5%. So there's not really a profit margin for a bank on $100,000. There's really no money for them to make. And everybody that's in real estate is in it to make money. So a bank is not going to be very, very friendly to lending to somebody that's making $30,000 a year because, how much of a mortgage payment can you make when you're looking at property taxes, homeowners insurance, utilities, I mean, the list goes on and on. So, $30,000 a year, nah, that's not a lot of money compared to trying to buy a house. Ain't nobody got those $600 mortgage payments around here. That's just kind of unrealistic in today's market.
Brother, when you hear this level of thinking, from a business, supposedly a business magazine, what comes to your mind? What do you think? What do you think about this? What you're hearing?
What I'm hearing is a scam, and what I hear is I hear do for self. I hear a bunch of and there's ideas that's thrown out there to see if it sticks. Just having black people think that this is just the way of the future, and this is the way for everybody else to make money off of it. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing advantageous about an opportunity zone for any person that's black, unless you are the person that has capital put to the side to invest. Now, if you have capital and you can invest in it, it's going to be very, very advantageous for you. But the average ADOS person does not have this money to do this with. So, I don't see how this benefits anybody.
And it doesn't matter what face they put on it. It doesn't matter if they get Jay-Z to co-sign, they get Charlemagne the God or T.I. to co-sign on this. This is just a bad deal, folks. This is just a bad deal. Let's go on. I got just a few more, and we're gonna wrap it up because it just gets worse and worse as we listen to it. This is the part I like, because this is where it really gets down to it. It says, although the Opportunity Zones program will, not may, not could, not might. See, everything up until now has been possibly, it could be, imagine this, I wonder if. But now they finally tell the truth. Says, although the Opportunity Zones program will almost certainly, they will, lead to gentrification as property values increase in areas targeted for investment, it can also offer new paths to Black economic empowerment. I don't know how, but we're going to let it go on. With innovative approaches, a solid understanding of the risks and rewards of opportunity zone investing, and careful attention to regulatory requirements for maximizing tax benefits, we can leverage the Opportunity Zone program to build wealth for Black families and revitalize our communities. And brother, I just have to tell you, I just don't see how that's possible. I just really don't. We know it's going to lead to gentrification. Even this article says that. And to think that somehow those poor, the middle class Black people are somehow going to be helped by this is just fantasy on the most cruel level. Because this doesn't even make sense unless you just don't even understand anything about this. Brother, what do you think when you hear that? Let me see. What do you think about that? Let me be quiet.
Well, that was the first thing I said. Conversation was that it is a path to gentrification. And I know that when we were talking about this on Facebook earlier in the messages, we had people that did not grasp that concept. That they thought that it was, this is going to be a great thing because we can do group economics, we can pull our resources. I think somebody mentioned something like collaborative economics or something like that, collective economics, social economics. It does not make sense. And it is not advantageous to Black people to be getting caught up in opportunity zones. The article clearly tells you it's going to gentrify the neighborhood. So you're going to be the person that's going to invest, and you're going to gentrify your own neighborhood because you're trying to make a profit. That's what it's there to do. And and if people don't understand that, I don't get how they don't understand that. There is no good path moving forward with an opportunity zone. There is none. And there is no Black businesses to be made. Nobody's coming in starting up a barbershop or a beauty salon. None of that stuff is getting started. What we're talking about core commercial and residential real estate development. We're talking about Whole Foods or either a grocery store that magnitude coming in. We're talking about real economic strongholds getting taken advantage of in that community, and they're going to be doing it for the maximum amount of profit as possible. So everybody has seen it happening in their community. It's happening all across America, and every neighborhood that has been designated as an opportunity zone has been gentrified to this point. So I don't understand why people can't grasp that concept. And any celebrity, black or otherwise, that co-signs opportunity zones is doing the exact same thing because they don't care anything about the community. They care about making money. So to T.I. and Killer Mike and all the other people who have been co-signing this opportunity zone stuff with Tim Scott and Cory Booker, they are there to make money. Period. They're not saving your house. They're not going to be renting for you. They're there to make money, and they're there to make as much money as possible.
And the crazy part about it, brother, is that they can do it. See, because T.I. has a certain level of wealth. Killer Mike has a certain level of wealth. Jay-Z has, see, these few minute group, they can actually do this and make it work. But that's not the vast majority of ADOS people. So for them to say it, it makes sense for them. But you're right. This is not a charity program. This is not something where we're gonna gentrify the hood and we're gonna hold these prices down and we're gonna let our people just flourish. That's not, as they say, that's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. So we're gonna wrap it up, brother. I appreciate you coming on. I just have one more question for the people that's listening, that stay with us this long. I appreciate you staying with us. Opportunity zones. Does it matter if the hand holding your head underwater is black or white? See, if you're being drowned and you're being pushed under the water, does it matter whether the person's hand that's holding you under is black or white? So a few black opportunists may benefit from these opportunity zones. And is that supposed to make us feel better? Is that supposed to be a good thing that this minute minority can benefit while the vast majority of the ADOS community goes under and is pushed under the water? All right, brother, I appreciate you hanging in there with us. Tell the family about it, boy. You dropped some gold tonight. Tell everybody about you and where they can find you and all the good things that you're doing.
Okay. If anybody wants to find me, I'm on Twitter at M_Stevenson. That's STEVENSON78. I'm Mark Stevenson on Facebook. And you can find me on there. There's a picture of me and my wife kind of looking at each other. I'm in the ADOS book club. I'm in the ADOS Facebook group. I'm the lead organizer for ADOS Columbus. So just find me on Twitter, Facebook, send me a message. I would gladly talk to you. And you know, if you got questions about opportunity zones, you got questions about investing in real estate, getting started, how to access capital, you know, looking for investors, just hit me up. And I'll be more than welcome to share my knowledge with you.
There it is, folks. So if you want somebody that's real, that's going to keep it real with you, and you really want to get into real estate, please get with this brother. You already heard what he said. You know that he's got your best interest at heart. He's not gonna, you know, fill your mind with just a lot of junk. He is no scam. He's the real deal. I vouch for the brother. All right. And for me, you know, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, www.SeanEHill.com. Do me a favor. Go ahead and send the video out. Share it. Let us know in the comments, what do you think about what Mark said? What do you think about what I said? Are opportunity zones a good thing? You know, maybe you looked at all this and said, you know what? I still think it's a good thing for the black community. So let us know, yes or no. Make it real easy for you. Opportunities a good thing for the black community? Yes or no? All right, fam. Hey, you know Yvette's coming on in a little bit. She gonna be bringing the fire as always. My brother, I love you and I appreciate everything you do for the community. And with that being said, I'm out. Have a good evening, everybody. And I'll see you at Yvette around 8:40-ish Central Standard Time. Goodbye, everybody. Hey, goodbye, brother. Talk to you later.